Hello and welcome to Lunch Therapy, Interview Friday. This is Joel Marshall. Today we have the great Ron Lynch as our guest for Interview Friday. Above me is a show that I'm doing this weekend. My short film, Netflix Doesn't Care, is going to be playing at the Hive Gallery video show. That's January 18th, Saturday night at 8 p.m. The address is there. It's 729 South Spring Street. We'd love to see you there. Let's get into this show. It is Interview Friday, Lunch Therapy.
I'm gonna get myself a modem. 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 I'm gonna get myself a modem.
All right. Happy Friday, everybody. This is Interview Friday. On this show, we have a show on Tuesday where it's a variety show with contests and you can win prizes, and check that out. It's at noon on Tuesday, every Tuesday afternoon. And then on Friday, it's Friday, we have an interview. Today we've got the great Ron Lynch, a comedian that you've seen in multiple places, a lot of times on Comedy Central, but he has his show, The Tomorrow Show, that runs every weekend on Saturday nights at midnight at various places like the Elysian and the Lyric Theatre, Lyric Hyperion. He's been doing that for a long time. He's been in tons of shows, but let's get into this show, and we have to start by breathing because that's what we do. But first, I want to thank all the Patreons out there. These are the Patreons of the show. This is how we do our independent media around here. So thanks to all the Patreons. There they are dancing around with Boney in the background. Hoy! Excited to see Ron Lynch. Yes, I am very excited too. So this is going to be great. I've been looking at Ron's work and it's phenomenal. And he's been around for a long time doing very, very individual work, which I love, very unique. And let's get into the breathing. At the top of the show, we always breathe. This is a lot of times we do it to healing vibrations, which is a sound bath that you can get online for free, in through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Hi, Howard or Ronan. It's great to see you here. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Howard, sometimes you remind me of Ron Lynch. You guys have a certain kind of quality that is similar. In through the nose, out through the toes. Hold it. Let it go. Although completely unique, you just remind me of each other. All right, we got our breaths in. Now it's time for the interview. Exhale slowly. Remember that. Always exhale slowly. So Ron must be super handsome. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Both of you guys are super handsome. Ron Lynch is an American stand-up comedian, actor, and a writer. He's been in tons of shows, including the show Corporate on Comedy Central, Another Period, Dope State, Comedy Bang Bang, and Portlandia, where he played a person who allows you to go to concerts virtually through the use of drones. It's hilarious. He's worked as a voiceover actor for a lot of animated shows. One was called Home Movies, which is tons of comedians are in that. Bob's Burgers, where he plays Ron, the inspector. Tom Goes to the Mayor. And he's also been on Dr. Katz, Professional Therapist, the Sarah Silverman Program, Andy Richter Controls the Universe, Adventure Time, where he plays Mr. Pig, and Star versus the Forces of Evil. He hosts a weekly musical and comedy variety show called Tomorrow, and it's every Saturday night at midnight. It was at the Steve Allen Theatre until they turned it into condominiums. And then it revived itself on September 30th in 2017. And it's been at the Lyric Hyperion, the Hayworth Theatre, I think the Elysian. It's just tons of great, my word is tons today. Tons of great comedians come in there and do work with him. So let's get into this thing. It is called Lunch Therapy Interview Friday with Ron Lynch.
Hey, how you doing? Where you from, sir? Hey, let me make you feel at home. Ooh. Ooh. Men and women are different, aren't they? They have different sexual organs. Have you noticed that X-rated movie titles are parodies of real movies? Hey, where'd you get that shirt? A store? You know, these things are just some of the things people used to laugh at. Lines that you may have heard from me. Hacky Sheckerstein. You may remember me from the Hall of Presidents. Now disassembled because of our new dictatorship. Fourscore and hello. I'm Abraham Lincoln. Sometimes I had a beard. Sometimes I didn't have a beard. Mary Todd, who was a real whack job, liked the beard because it covered the hideous wart I had on my face.
Oh my God. I love it. There he is. Ron Lynch.
Oh.
There you are. This is really him. Huh. Yes. So great to have you here. Welcome to Lunch Therapy.
How come my rectangle is smaller?
Is it? I think I've got the, I don't have a rectangle. I'm like rectangleless. Untangled. How are you doing? Great to see you.
Good. I haven't shaved or cleaned up a little bit yet. I'm going to Edmonton on Friday.
You are? What's going on up there?
They're having a festival of music and comedy, and I'm headlining one of the shows, and it's going to be cold.
Yeah, it's going to be cold.
I haven't been to a really cold place in a while, but I think it's like 15 Fahrenheit degrees.
Wow. Yeah. And you've lived in Los Angeles for a long time. You must have the thin blood, right?
It's been a while. I started out in New York and Boston on the East Coast, and that was pretty cold. Then I've gradually have gone to a warmer and warmer place. It was San Francisco and then Los Angeles.
I just really enjoy your work. I mean, it is so unique and so, and it also seems to involve like a community of people, and I'm just amazed. So and it also to me seems like sometimes you're doing deconstructionist comedy, as it were. I really think that you're coming at it from an interesting angle. Yeah.
Deconstruction, what I get all the time too, which is
Do you?
not true necessarily, but maybe I'm trying to just entertain those people that think that's good.
Well, some of the things that you do, it's sometimes it seems like you're making fun of stand up. And because you're making fun of it, of the, the kind of norms of like, you ever notice, isn't it crazy? Kind of the formulas of stand up, and then you kind of go off in an interesting way. And I would just wonder, like, how did you come about being a stand-up and being a comedian and a host and an entertainer? Is that something that was in your family or something?
Oh, no. My parents were humorous, but I would say I didn't necessarily get it from them. I mean, I started out to be a musician, and I started geology. I have a degree in geology, one of my degrees anyway. And then as I was doing the geology thing, I was doing theater. And I had done some in high school, and then theater led to hanging out with my friend from high school who I went to college with, and then we did radio together, and then we were in a comedy team, which is an old-time form of comedy where two guys go up on stage in case one of them is afraid of doing it.
And what drew you to that? Did you guys just enjoy?
Oh, I don't know. I think the radio got us into doing live performing in a way. I mean, you don't hear the laugh, but we decided to do a live show using our radio material. And that first show in one of the dorm room, multi-purpose rooms, that show was 2 hours long, which I can't believe.
Did you get people to come to the show? Like, did you invite people, or was it spontaneous, or what happened?
I mean, we could advertise on our own radio show. So, and the college radio show was a very close number 2 in the city of Binghamton. So we had a pretty good following.
Did you? So you didn't have any kind of like formal training, as in comedy, improv, or anything like that? You guys just started sort of making it up based out of what you were doing on radio? Is that true, or?
Yeah, that's kind of a good question, because I don't know where it came from. I mean, I did a lot of theater training. I mean, I have a degree in theater as well, and that's from acting a lot, and then gradually getting away from geology, which I probably don't know anything about it anymore.
But you have a degree in it, yeah.
Yeah, I had to make room in my head for everything else.
Yeah. And what made you go to Boston instead of New York?
Well, my comedy partner worked for a very small airlines, and they had a presence in Logan Airport. So he got a job in Boston, and he moved before I did, and I stayed and got a master's. Then I went and followed him there, and it was the very beginning of this club. I think it's still going on, the Comedy Connection in Boston. So we wound up going there because it was an opportunity.
It seems like Boston at that time might have been a good comedy. Like there were a lot of comedians that came out of that time, right?
It was the best. Oh yes. Steve Wright, Paula Poundstone, Lenny Clark, tons of very funny people. And the best thing about it too was that there was the Comedy Connection, where people didn't get paid very much. And then Barry Crimmins, I don't know if you know that name, he started a club at a Chinese restaurant which had Western decor, and appropriately had comedy there. And the comedians would split the door, so we were making more money there. So they had to start raising money at the other club. So it was good. It was a really good, weird setup. At that
time, were you thinking like, how am I going to make money in my life, or were you just following your muse?
No, I worked at the Coop, which was like a big record store in Boston, for a while. I wound up managing there, and And during that, I was working at the MIT Coop, and I learned all this stuff on how to receive albums and everything else and price them. And I was being told to go to classes where I learned that, and I already knew all this stuff. So I wouldn't go to the class. Instead, I would sort albums. And I got fired because they got the sense that I didn't care enough.
Oh, no.
I was the first manager that was making money for the company.
Were you
Anyway,
so at the time? Were you doing still a duo, or were you doing stand up alone, or both?
When I got let go, we wound up going. We were going to go street performing anyway. We wanted to try street performing as the two of us doing it at Faneuil Hall, and it seemed like people were making money doing that. But we were way too subtle in the beginning. We would just start talking to each other. Hey, Bob, how's it going? Good, Ron. What are you doing today? Just like that. And that was so stupid.
Like you were doing like a scene, just an improv scene.
We were doing the scene, and we're really just talking, like chatting.
Yeah.
And setting up stuff.
How would they even know it was street performing, and not just two guys standing there talking?
It had to be so much bigger to have everybody's attention. You know? And,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. I'm glad we did that. That was really fun, but I wouldn't do it again. You have to kind of be big and bolstery, and which I can be, but you have to have a lot of fun doing it too. And I don't juggle, so yeah. So we left that and just started. We started doing comedy. He had a job, and I still had a job. We both had jobs for a while.
Yeah.
But from that job on, did not wind up ever getting a regular job.
Really?
Comedy was supporting me. When I moved to San Francisco, I spent all my money to move. But I remember getting a call from a temp agency to work like the Christmas shift at Macy's. And I remember getting off the bus, walking towards the door, and I went, no, I'm not going to do this. Which is crazy. It's totally crazy.
Yeah.
If you need money, you got to work to get money.
Yeah.
And I got home, got a call of like 3 days of work, which was great. There was a lot of work in the period. Yeah.
And was that performing work or?
Yeah, performing solo in San Francisco. Yeah.
Wow. Do you think that was like the best idea though, to make yourself rely on your art to feed yourself? Like maybe.
In a way, it was, and it worked out. So I'll have to say yes. I didn't say I've never had a regular job up to that point.
Yeah.
So this obscure stuff, writing comedy things. That's actually a
That's
job.
the same thing, I think, right?
I guess so, but it's all comedy.
Yeah.
Comedy stuff. I've been very, very, very lucky. Something always came up.
Why did you go to San Francisco?
I was living in New York City, and things were going okay there, but I was there at a time where the shows would go to 3 a.m, 4 a.m. And when I started, it was 11:30 or 11. And as time went on, I was going later and later, performing in almost all the clubs. But there's a lot of work to make any money there. You always had to leave town. And I was offered the comedy competition in San Francisco. My hair is so crazy.
It's funny. It's like sometimes you're bald and sometimes you have a lot of hair.
It comes out to about here.
Yeah. Oh, really? It's totally. You're getting a haircut.
Yeah, right.
Did the Zoom?
Hey, great. I forgot what I was saying.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about San Francisco. Why you got into this comedy contest?
Comedy competition, still going on. I don't know how in San Francisco. It's really the stupidest thing ever. Judging people on how creative they are. But
people love to do it though.
The guy with the guitar would win. I remember, but I met a lot of great comics and a lot of jerks that would try to psych you out for the shows. It was one night. It was like 30 comics. It was I think it was 20 at that point. And I came in fifth one night or fourth, and that was great. I mean, that proved a point to me. I remember Steve Wright, who did. I think he did the thing too, and he came in like 13th or 14th or something, and which is insane.
Yeah, one of the great comedians.
I always use that as a judge to how stupid the competition is. But, it got me out there, and I knew I wasn't going to get into the second week. And Tom Kenny, who was living there at the time, a friend of mine, he said, "Hey, somebody dropped out of this week of sketch comedy stuff and stand-up that we're doing at the other cafe. And this is the original other cafe, which was great, a great little club. And so I filled in for somebody and did a week of work instead of the competition. So I actually made a little money. But I just fell in love with San Francisco. I really liked it, and the comedy people there were great. So,
was Robin Williams there at the time too?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And I have a Robin Williams story that I always never tell. It's always hard not to tell it, but he was the most phenomenal performer ever, and yet he was very shy, and he didn't always thought people were against him a little. And
really?
I hosted a show at this place called the Holy City Zoo, and it's an infamous comedy club that was in San Francisco that a lot of people started at. Tiny storefront club with a bar. I don't know what it sat. It probably sat 35 people. And hosting that show, he came up to me one week and he did the show. He was working on some special about evolution or ecology on TV, and he wanted to work on this bit. And of course I said yes. And other people were on the show. There were these three guys doing a sketch. So they pretty much went out. I'm pretty sure they went out before he hit the stage. They went out to work on their sketch, which was coming up. And editing the story, he got upset that people left or weren't paying attention to him, and which is really too bad. I mean, if I did that, I would not be working right now. And the woman that was running the club at the time called me afterwards and went, "What happened?" I'm like, "What do you mean what happened?" Robin is very upset because people just walked out when he hit the stage. Went, no. People went to go rehearse something, and other people went and sat down and watched them. Also editing the story, that club is closing, and there's a show, and I'm regretting telling this. And there's a show, and like the final show, and they're also auctioning off all the furniture and stuff from the club, which is insane.
Yeah.
That was another night. I went crazy at the night. I went, "You can't believe you're selling." Okay. So anyway, during that last show, Tom Kenny was leaving, and I went outside to say goodbye to him. And the owner of the club, this guy, Bob Fisher, goes, "Ron, Robin wants to talk to you." And he points across the way. I went, "All right, I'm just going to say goodbye to Tom." He goes, "No, now." Well, what? So Tom says goodbye, and I walk across and I talk to Robin, and he goes, "Hey, you know those people that like walked out when I was on stage? Who were they?" And I went, "Robin, I'm really sorry to say this, but even if I knew the names and who they were exactly, I wouldn't tell you." And he walked away. He just walked away. I mean, since then, I've seen him, and I've seen him down previously. He came to Tomorrow's show a couple of times.
Really?
So we were friends again.
Yeah.
And he forgot that, but that was so silly.
Yeah. Well, sometimes we psych ourselves out by worrying about things that are just not important. And even Robin Williams,
That is true.
What about Steve Martin? Was he there at the time too?
Steve Martin is my brother now. No, he wasn't. Steve Martin was not in San Francisco.
Oh, he wasn't then. Because I remember one of his albums, he did it at the someplace called the Boarding House. Was that in San Francisco? Who knows?
I
Yeah.
don't know. It's clear.
So when did you move to Los Angeles? And what made you move here?
That's a good question. Well, the thing is, I kept driving down the 5 to do stuff here, and that is horrible.
Horrible.
And yeah, and we did a couple of shows in San Francisco that we brought down to LA. That there was one producer really liked our stuff. I think he had a pilot and brought stuff on there, and we used to do a what was it called? It was high school assembly. I played the principal who would introduce people, and it was a great concept for a show because people would figure out who they were going to be, what they were going to do. I would just introduce them. No rehearsal, nothing at all, and introduce the drama teacher.
Yeah.
And she would come up and do her character.
Oh, it's great.
It's really fun, and we also did a different group of people. I mean, different bunch that I put together. We did the OJ trial with pretty good actors.
Yeah.
We did it down here, and that kind of broke me into coming to LA more. And I just realized I had to be here, basically.
Do you come up with, when you're coming up with like a sketch or some kind of show like that, do you come up with games to play, sort of like, or how do you? What is the structure of something like that?
Way?
Yeah, like you were saying, like we did it and it was an assembly and these were different teachers and different people in the school doing their performance. So it gave it kind of a framework. Is that something,
right.
Is that like, I mean, I don't know. Is that something that you do? Like sometimes I hear people who are like into the clown theater lately talk about games and coming up with games to play.
Yeah. No.
Perfect.
There's group performing and improv, and they call it the game. I mean, that's UCB follows that theory.
Oh, is that it?
That you have to be playing the game and know what your goal is to finish the game. Include everybody else in it. I don't think I've thought that way. I mean, if anything, I taught improv for a little while in Boston, using the Viola Spolin book of improv.
Yeah, theater games.
Which goes all the way from knocking on a door, and by what that sounds like, you can tell what that character is or who's at the door.
Yeah.
Uncanny to me that when you would do that exercise, a lot of people would guess right on the nose.
Really?
Correctly who you're supposed to be. I mean, it could just be that would be like somebody collecting money or something.
Yeah.
Something bad is happening.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it was very fun to teach and really fun to do. I love doing improv. I've been on a couple of TV shows that were based on that, which I would believe that would happen. But it was a show called Love Spring International, which was a tail end of computers being used to match people up for dating.
Yeah.
And it was still a paperwork thing where you would go in and fill out paperwork, and you would meet somebody with a counselor, and it's a pretty funny show, I think. I was just one of the people looking for a date that thought he was really funny. It's a great character.
Great character to play. Yeah, buffoon sort of.
Yeah, and it's
hilarious. So tell me about that. Like you have been in a lot of television programs, and a lot of them are the same sort of sense of humor that you seem to have. How do you it seems like a lot of the things that you do just is sort of like organic and natural, like you're not like making a dream board or you're not plotting out a course. It seems like you're just going on impulse, and it's and also you're not necessarily even going to somebody and saying, "How do I do this?" You're just kind of doing it, and then learning from the doing of it. Would you say that that's true?
It sounds true.
It sounds true from what you've said.
Like what I do.
And yeah.
I would say recently my act is I've been using a lot of recordings lately and playing against myself, and I might be getting off the track here, but
it's okay.
My latest fun thing that I discovered is I bought a Bluetooth speaker so I could listen to music and things, and I realized I could use it for cues, and then from that I went, wait a minute, I can talk to myself in the audience, and I put it in the audience, and it's pretty loud, and it's only like that big.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty good. It's Marshall, so it's
there you go. Yeah.
And so I would be talking to the crowd, and then suddenly my voice would come out of the speaker.
That's great.
Going, hey, Ron, what's going on? Blah blah blah. And it was super fun and not altogether well written. And I kept thinking, I'll just try it out first and see if I can work with it to make it make any sense. And I thought, this isn't really that funny. People were laughing at the stupidity of it.
It's so funny. You have that one too, where you have the little recorder, and you talk to it.
I do eventually with a recorder. I used to anyway.
And you put it in your pocket, and you had the mic.
Right.
That's
right.
Brilliant. I love how you do that, where you use, and also, of course, the clip that we showed, where you do the Abraham Lincoln animatronic character, and in that case, he was a comedian.
People call it the Abe Lincoln bit, and it's really supposedly a comedian.
Yeah. But did you do Abraham Lincoln as an animatronic originally?
Yes, that was it. It was just Abraham Lincoln.
Did you do that at UC or at the Groundlings at all?
No.
No.
Oh, no.
UCB, is that where you did it, or?
I've done it at UCB.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it at UCB.
It's hilarious.
The old space, I love that old space. I haven't been there in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Had an apartment right around the corner, actually. And, yeah.
So let me ask you about your show tomorrow. What prompted you to do this live show? And
Why should we wait till tomorrow?
Yeah. But so you do it at midnight? Have you always done it at midnight?
We've always done it at midnight because we're complete idiots.
That's crazy.
We get a small crowd, but they're angry and hungry. I didn't mean to say angry, but they're hungry.
They're hangry and tired, I would think.
I don't know.
Drunk?
For me, I like having the midnight spot because then I could do other stuff.
Yeah.
On Saturday or
very practical.
Get people that have done other shows and come over.
Mm-hmm.
It's wrong because I'll ask acts to do it, and they'll go, "Okay, sure. What time is it?" I said, "It's at midnight." Oh yeah. No.
No.
How old are you?
Oh God.
It might take a nap for me during the day Saturday, but not a long one. But I love the midnight hour, just being so weird,
Yeah.
And it's great to have a band. We have a lot of times a band opening the show, and I think when people are a little tired, they're going to laugh more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're a little tired. They're a little loopy. Oh my God! So when did you start doing that, and how did that idea come to your mind, or did it evolve over time, and the idea of doing it every week too seems like a lot.
Yeah, the line on that is we were at the Steve Allen Theater, the best theater ever that isn't there anymore, and that was over on Hollywood, and it was a great theater. It was just great. I mean, the Elysian is comes the closest to it, but that theater. What were we talking about?
We were talking about. I was like, how did that start? That you said I'm going to do a show every Saturday night at midnight.
Greg gets on.
I'm going to do it every week.
The Idiots, which I really think that was some of the best things we ever did.
Yeah.
It was two guys. I'm editing in my head, but it was two guys. They were the sons of Crick and Watson, who discovered the DNA molecule. And so the government thought these guys must be super smart. And we hadn't seen each other since we were teenagers, and were put together to live in this apartment to discover something new and big. And that's where the comedy ensued, because we're idiots. Problems with stuff. And, we kept rewriting the show just to make it more interesting. It wasn't like to get it better. Well, it was in a sense, but it was also to make the show exciting for us and for the audience. And we had a great keyboard player who actually plays keyboard for my tomorrow show, Michael Mortilla, who's phenomenal. He can play for a silent movie cold without seeing the movie ahead of time. And create the themes and everything. It's pretty insane. Anyway, The Idiots was a great show, and I had to leave town to do some stand-up. And during that time, Craig said, "Let's not do this anymore, just to be fresh, you know." And there was something to that, but I don't know. That show was good, and we were changing it up enough, doing it. So anyway, that show ended at the Steve Allen Theater, and Amit Idelman, who was the house guy at that theater, who picked all the stuff, said, "Hey, can you guys come up with another show?" And for some reason, we decided a stupid idea would be to have a midnight show called Tomorrow, have it be a variety show, and not really know what we're going to do. And that was the beginning theory. And then we added Brendan Small to the mix, and the three of us. Then we realized we all play instruments, so we were kind of the house band a little bit for a while. And it was just super fun. And then Dino Stamatopoulos, I don't know if you know him.
No.
He was a writer and creator for Mr. Show, and wrote for Conan, one of the original Conan writers. Super creative guy. He also drinks a little, and do not show him that. Okay.
Yeah.
So he was there that night, and while he was in the back room, didn't know what he was going to do maybe on the show, and both of us at the same time just said, "All right, why don't you host?" Which was not the plan. He would go out not knowing what the act was going to be or anything.
Oh my God!
Bring them on. So it wound up being weird and really, really fun. But that only happened. I think that only happened for 2 shows, and then Craig and I took over, and then Brent and Brendan. All right, now does that answer?
It does to a certain extent. So you decided then that you were going to do this and why did you decide to do it every week? Could you get
another, idea? Let's do it every Saturday at midnight. Thinking we would be free anyway, and it could be fun. Yeah. And it was fun. It was really fun. It was a really stupid show, and then we would have big anniversary shows every year that would start at like 9 or 10 or something, and go to like 4. I think the latest one was 4:40 in the audience.
Holy crap!
Most people stayed.
Really?
We would give out trinkets and little toys and everything to everybody. It wound up being Kate Micucci and I would go downtown and just buy a bunch of toys in the toy district, which is great. If you haven't been there, you got to go.
The toy district. Yeah, I got to go. Sounds
really
good.
Weird. I mean, they sell packs of like 6 to 12 type of toys, or weird things, or weird balls, or hats, weird hats, shakers, all kinds of stuff. And we would hand them out. We would mostly get things that lit up.
Things that light up.
Video of the shows, you see everyone in the audience wearing some weird lighting thing.
Oh, that sounds. And do you have like people that are fans that come every week?
Yes and no. I mean, well, at the Elysian, some of those fans can't handle 4 midnight shows a month. We do have fans. We had a lot of fans. When the show first started, I always say it was a lot of goth people would show up, which I don't think is a big number right now.
Vampires,
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's always fun. Whether we have, I'm trying to think of a minimal number. As long as we have at least 8 people, and sometimes it goes up to 40 to 50 people.
Wow.
And as you can imagine, that's a bit of a big difference. But I think our performers do exactly the same show. Exactly.
And you have different people every week? Like, do you have different guests?
Every week it's different people. The only consistency right now is that once a month we have 5 minutes or die, which is nobody can do more than 5 minutes because that's too long. And
yeah. And you turn the lights out when they're done, right?
Lights are shut off at 5 minutes exactly by Mitch, our sound guy, and it's good because some people that have fun with it are really good at stage time. They'll work the punchline up to the light going out.
Oh, right up to the thing.
You can have a joke and then say the punchline and the lights go out. Man, that's like phenomenal.
That's great.
However, not that easy.
No, not easy at all, especially with an audience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I assume you've had like tons of different performers come through this show that a lot of them are known names that we know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the anniversary shows especially, we would get pretty known people on there. The last show we did at the Elysian, the anniversary show, Emo's a hard guy to nail down, and he'll shy away from some things. And, he, I think, basically told me he couldn't do it, and he went, well, I could. And I went, well, all you have to do is walk on stage and leave. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And he did that, but he, of course, did more than that. But and I thought, man, this audience is going to be pretty young because it was packed.
Mm-hmm.
Be pretty young, and they're not going to know who he is. But he walked out on stage, and the audience went bananas.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Also on that show, Jack Black came by. It was great. Sang a song, and we have a co-host, my co-host Davey Johnson, who was phenomenal. If it wasn't for him, the show wouldn't work. He was on stage with me, and Jack came out and yelled at him for saying something to me, which was so funny. And I forgot what the follow-up was, but it was just great that Jack just took over for a second.
So cool. Did you, as it went along, did you develop kind of a structure to it? To the show? Like, do you have like every week, do you have to be like, I've got to put together a show? Who produces it? How do you get the guests? How do you manage all the admin of it?
Things that happen a lot.
Yeah.
Not necessarily every show, but they're not necessarily right up top of the show. I mean, the only formula that I can think of is that the band would play first for like 15 minutes, and then maybe play a song or two at the very end of the show. Mm-hmm. And that's not regular either. So I'm going to say no. There is no, except that it's late, and people shouldn't do more than 7 minutes, whoever they are. Mm-hmm. That's about the only rules.
And you have comedians, and you have plate spinners and jugglers and all kinds of different people, right?
Yeah. I mean, our favorite, we have a knife thrower, Jack Dagger, who is just the best. And he's been working with his son lately, actually, who is also throwing knives.
Really? Practice.
He'll put a woman across. He carries the board with him, and he'll put the board up on the stage, and then during his part of the act, he'll have a woman lean against the board with a flower in her mouth and throw a couple of knives.
Holy
Flowers cut
crap.
in half.
Wow.
It's pretty. That knife lands within 4 inches of her face.
Unbelievable.
That's one thing. That's just one thing. Actually, this always cracked me up and scared the hell out of me. But he did the Steve Allen one time, and I think it may have been the first time. And he had an extra balloon from the balloon part of his act on the ground as you would enter the space. And he already did the balloon thing for the audience with the model. And I walked on with the balloon in my mouth, and he's packing up a little bit, and the other hosts are on. And he goes, "Oh, all right, get over there," and he makes me get in front of the board.
Oh no!
And, no, this is not. This is, and I'm trying to explain that it's just a joke, wearing it, and as a joke on his part, he makes me stand up against the board, throws one knife, that knife hits the balloon but doesn't break it, and it makes the balloon go up and down rapidly. And throws another knife almost immediately, breaking the balloon. They say your heart is in your throat or whatever, but it was a combination of a new experience, a new feeling, and being scared out of my wits. And of course, it killed with the audience.
Yeah.
And to the day, I'm happy I did it. And he always threatens to do something with me. But you know what? He did the flower thing with me.
He did? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's scary.
Got the stem. I always thought knife throwers were a little bit of a trick, but they actually do it. They actually throw the knives.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have a board where the knife comes out of the board.
No.
And they put the knife in their pocket.
He recently lost his equipment. Somebody stole.
Oh, no.
One set that he designed and everything. So it was very sad. But he had a backup, and he did a show with that backup and his son last time, and that was really fun.
When you go out on the road, do you usually do stand-up? And do you do... No. What do you do?
Well, it's always just in a stand-up situation.
Can I play a clip of you with the broken mic thing? You know, the little one that you do where the mic is broken?
I guess so. I will know what you're talking about when I see it.
All right, let's see it.
It's great performing here. Sometimes you perform at a bar as a comic or a crappy place that has a Radio Shack surrealistic setup and there's tape on the mic and it's really screwing up what you're doing, and it might sound something like this. Well, I like flying, and you know, flying's kind of weird. You get on the plane and get a peanut, you know, and get and the pilot comes on the horn. Get attention, adventures. Yeah, I'll take a swig. I mean, is she the stewardess? Getting to put this in the upright position. Right? Come on, what am I talking about?
I can't believe you're like, I don't know. What broken mic thing? I love that.
I forgot about the line, yeah, I'll take a swig. I got to write that down. Yeah, you know what? I hadn't done that in a very long time, and I think I tried doing it out of the blue. And it's one of those bits that you kind of have to rehearse, or you have to go over it.
Yeah, I bet. Did you practice that? I mean, obviously you must have practiced that because it's so polished. Even though you say you made a mistake.
Practice it a little bit, but it's still, you know, the testing is actually in front of an audience.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you can't practice punchlines and things.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you have to go in front of. Now, that's what's great about you having your show every week, because it's so much of a repetition for you, I'm sure. And you can try out new things.
I don't do my act very much.
You don't?
Show.
Why not?
No, I just really love hosting the show and working with whatever's happening with the audience and commenting on comics that just perform. Yeah. I mean, you talked about traveling. Occasionally, they'll ask me to do this show called Crapshoot, which uses people from the festival, which is the great thing about it. But that's a show where I have a hat. I start the show on stage, but then I step off stage, and the rest of the show, I'm having people pull things out of the hat and reading them. And less than half are the actual acts that are performing. Then there's prizes, like exercises with the audience, and
Well, that sounds like fun.
super fun to do.
Where's that show?
I don't know. I actually have it. I don't do it occasionally at a festival.
Oh, I
They
see.
ask me to. I would do it at my midnight show if I knew the crowd was going to be a little bigger, but at any time. And it's not reliable how big the crowd's going to be unless I book that show, which I think I may do. I've been encouraged to do that many times. So yeah, I might do it up here.
I love this one too. Now this is the same. It's the same performance, but you're doing this thing where you keep cycling back to school, and then you keep saying like,
Wow.
"Yeah, I love this though." Is that from a while back?
That's an old bit. Yeah, that's
It's
one of
a
my
funny bit, but I love the way you do it. Can we play a little clip of that? I mean, you just to set this up, you have.
Where is it from?
It's from the same place, same. Yeah, and basically, you keep circling back to school, and then you keep saying the same things, like repeating things. That as your act kind of keeps falling on the same subjects, the same topics, and then to the point where
It's all segue.
yeah, it's all segue. Yeah, so you keep segueing to things, and they keep coming back around to the same topics, to the point where you start asking the audience to fill it in, to say it like it's a song that they know. Anyway, let's do it.
You're a baby, you're growing up. You're a baby, you're growing up, and you're trying to catch up with your parents. By the time you catch up, they're like 15 feet tall, and my parents are older than me. And my girlfriend, she's older too, and she's a mess. So I said, look, all you have to do is go to school, and you get to school. What a place, man. Teachers, guidance counselors, the 3 R's. My girlfriend.
She's a mess.
She's a mess. Very good. Okay. School. Oh no, wait. Does the mid get bigger or smaller?
Bigger.
What happens?
Flies away.
Sing Sinatra. Goes eyes and wings first. Flies away.
Sing Sinatra. Plays Parcheesi.
Parcheesi, very good. And my girlfriend.
She's a mess.
Right. School.
What a place.
Teacher. Stop it. School.
What a place. Teachers, guidance counselors, 3 R's.
All right. Have you guys ever worked together as an audience before? Thank you very much. Good night.
So good. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Oh, I closed with that.
Yeah. I love that. So that's what I'm talking about when I was saying you're just deconstructing stand-up, is that you're kind of making fun of the the structure of stand-up, I guess, in a little, or having fun. Let's say having fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the writing becomes part of because that's what I learned about stand-up, and
This is how you do stand-up.
I never thought of anything wrong with it. But there's nothing really wrong with it.
No.
Crowd, you don't have to have seen stand-up to get that stuff, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And it's also what the crowd expects of you. Is, you know, isn't it crazy?
But I probably, you know, if I do an hour, I may lean towards doing one of them. So
yeah.
But Edmonton, they're in Canada. They've never seen me. They don't even.
Well, that's one of the benefits of traveling, right?
Right.
They've never seen you before. Do you find that you have to kind of establish yourself as a comedian when you come on stage? If maybe it's an audience that's not familiar with you?
No, I guess not.
They just have to.
You have to show them that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to show them that right off the bat. Maybe you got to get a laugh pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that. Yeah, because they're waiting. They are just waiting.
They're waiting to see, is this guy going to be?
Time. That's why they just go right into the crowd and start asking questions, because that fills up time.
Mm-hmm.
Can I explain my latest bit? It doesn't matter. I have a thing that I get a complete kick out of. I wear a mask. I wear a white mask, like a N95 mask.
Yeah.
Coming on stage, I think if people know I'm going to do a lot of time, they're already upset.
Yeah.
Thinking I'm going to wear this mask all that time, maybe.
Yeah.
So I apologize for the mask. I say other things. I do something that would be inappropriate for the mask. I can't think of exactly what I'm doing now, but until I get to the point where I say to the crowd, "Look, I'm 6 feet away. I'm going to be up here a while. Do you mind if I take this mask off?" Always say, "Yeah, take it off. Take it off." And of course, I take the mask off without them kind of seeing it.
Yeah.
It's a recording all the time. The whole thing was a recording, and that the recording continues without me doing my mouth.
It's hilarious.
It's just
And do you just stand there while it plays?
No, I act like I could do other stuff if I wanted to. I mean, I'll sit down. The thing that I'm recently discovering is that I need to take a drink. So I take a drink. Of course, it keeps going.
Yeah.
Which is the old ventriloquist trick.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny.
I love torturing the audience that way. It's really torture, but so that can only go so long before they get mad about
rebel.
That. So I'll just start saying, I could do this the whole time. Cool stuff. It's still material and blah blah.
It cracks me up.
Yeah,
I love that though.
I really enjoy doing that bit. It also is a good opener because they're really staring at you like, what is he doing? Until I take it off. And then it's the delay of the laugh after I take it off. Is
Delayed laughs are the best.
Right away. They go, wait a minute, I'm still off the recording.
Do you you have a kind of mischievous kind of screw with the audience kind of quality about you? Have you always been that way, or what do you think that's about?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great though. Does your technology ever fail you? Like your Bluetooth speaker? Like that seems like kind of.
Well, in the old days, I would use tape recorders and other things with batteries, and they would always go, "Your batteries are going to go."
Yeah,
that has happened. It has happened where
it's the
the
worst.
tape recorder batteries in it, and
Yeah.
it'll just be go, "Oh, hello."
Yes.
At the
Yes.
end of that.
Yeah, you always have to have something else.
But you also learn in comedy from doing that mistake, and maybe you can do it on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's gold. I always say that when something goes wrong, that's the gold in live performance. When something you did not expect happens. Like I was even in a play one time where all the lights went out, the power went out. And then everybody's on stage and they're just like, do we keep going or do we stop or what, and do we worry about the audience? Is everybody okay? Somebody said, is everyone okay? Like it's just that moment is the richest part because you're definitely in the moment,
I did comedy on, I think it was Martha's Vineyard once, and we were in a big bar performing, and the lights went out, and we kind of talked about it, joked about it a little bit, and in that time, people handed us 2 flashlights.
Oh.
And we did the rest of the set, which was pretty stupid for us to try.
Yeah.
Just totally flashlights.
But really fun, though. Probably really fun. Fun for the audience, too.
Yeah.
That's why you can't bail out. All right. Well, we have to end this show, unfortunately. I'm really enjoying talking with you.
Finally.
There's finally, I know. God, it's finally over. It's not until 4:30 in the morning like your show. I can't wait to go see it. We're at the end. I'm going to play one more clip that is a testament to you. I don't know if you've seen this. Have you seen Louis C.K. talking about you?
After the Emmys?
Yeah, after the Emmys.
Are you
All
going
right.
to have Ron Lynch on the show?
I really should, right? You know who he is? Ron Lynch is a comedian who, when I was starting in Boston, he ran a really weird show called the Comedy Clubhouse, and he was just a very inventive and wonderful act. He's still around today. He has a show every Saturday, I think, at the Steve Allen Theatre, and he just does the strangest, most interesting, and there's nobody like him.
There's nobody like him. And then you took him, gave him his first big shot, right?
That's right.
That's what he says.
Theoretically, yeah. Well, yeah, it was the first stand-up in a while. I think he had done it once and then gave up on it.
Yeah.
And, then did that. He claimed I was responsible for his career. I think he actually used that.
Yeah, that's right.
And do we have time for a second thing?
Yeah.
In order to perform at the Comedy Clubhouse was in a small little movie theater that had tables and chairs, and they would serve coffee and milk and cake and stuff. So it was pretty fun. And they would show really obscure stuff. They just had an anniversary show. And he said, how do I get on the show? And I went, well, do you have a tape of your act? And he said, just get me a tape. And so the next week he gave me a tape, which I still have, and he says he's going to kill me for it. He taped him performing, but in actuality, I think he did it in his living room. He had glasses clinking way too much. The laughs were overlayered. I think he had an 4-track or 8-track recorder on a cassette player. And
No way. No way.
And he gave it to me, and it was pretty funny. It was kind of funny jokes,
Yeah.
I see as fast as slow children. I see, oh, hello,
Yeah. Slow children to play.
And, so he came back the following week. He said, so did you get to listen to the tape? And I said, did you think I was going to think that you were actually in a comedy club? His face was dropped. He said, yes. I went, okay, you're on third.
That's funny.
Yeah, anybody that goes to that trouble.
Right, that much trouble to make their own soundtrack.
Tomorrow theory is always, give somebody one chance or whatever,
Yeah.
Willing to do a midnight show. And most people who are performers now are pretty creative,
Oh, yeah.
The difference is a line between, the Comedy Store comics who are funny in their way, and There are people that still do that. That's funny, and there's other people who do a bunch of other stuff.
Like Sethward. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know what kind of note that is to end this on.
I don't know either. Do you have any advice to the up and coming comic in this day and age?
Yes, stop now.
Stop now. Go back. But that
Or
doesn't.
you feel like it take 2 years from now.
Yeah.
No, I mean that is entirely possible.
Yeah. Do you pursue acting roles? Like, do you like go through the breakdowns, or do they pursue you?
Yeah, my agent's kind of not doing very well right now, so I'm trying to look for a new theatrical agent. Anyway, I do voiceover stuff with that more. I don't have a theatrical agent, which I used to book pretty good, and so I know I want to. Question.
Well, my question really also is, it seems like you've been in a lot of really hilarious shows on Comedy Central and all these different venues, but it's like a certain type. Like it's a really funny group of people that you've been involved with. Is that because of your community, or is that just from auditioning, or a little bit of both?
Well, I book the show, and so it's people that I want on the show. So that's one similarity. But
yeah. But do people come on your show and go, I got to get Ron Lynch on my show, on my television show? Do you think that's maybe builds your notoriety? Is that sort of like organic networking? Yeah.
I have a movie out, a horror movie, which I had to be halfway through the script before I realized it was kind of based on the Tomorrow Show.
Oh, really?
Of a comedy booker who ate people. And I had an assistant that would get someone to eat at the end of the month. And so it's the only movie I know of that had people doing their actual comedy of their own and their bits of their own on the stage that I was in charge of. But I would keep eating people. And so I think it's pretty good. I think it's a pretty good movie.
What's it called?
It's called Too Late.
Too Late.
So there's another movie called Too Late, but this is not that.
Okay.
Too Late. You go to YouTube, my name on it. I think it's on Tubi. It's on Tubi right now. You have Tubi.
Okay.
And on Prime, which I think owns everything.
They own everything. Yeah. I wonder. This looks like it.
Yeah, go see it.
Hey, did you guys know?
See. Hold on. Let's see it. That'll be a fun way to end the thing. This is it, right?
You can do a bunch of yoga and still be an asshole? You comic?
No, this is just something I'm working on.
Aren't we all working on something?
Fredo. Huh? I asked for a mist blue. Do you want me to look like a corpse up here?
All right.
Yeah, I'll pretend I care. You're Violet, right? Is this your show?
Yeah, it's my show. I'm a booker.
You're Bob Divorce's assistant. So you booked too late, right?
That job is your whole life. It's not so bad. He's never gonna let you go. Value yourself by. There's more to life than a boss who only lets you peek inside the party but never invites you in.
Violet, don't forget. Dark of the Moon.
Why are you booking but not performing?
You know, I think we all start out with what we think we want to be. But we end up just being what we are.
Oh.
I don't have any material on that, so that's not ideal.
I've been patient with you, Violet. I can make things happen for you, but only if you do your job.
I've just never met anybody like you before.
Can I tell you something?
I don't believe you.
Violet, both you and I know that comedians aren't really people.
The prophecy has been fulfilled!
Showtime. Just don't make him mad, right? I mean, if Bob's not happy, nobody's happy.
Wow, that looks great. So it's on
it's
Tubi.
pretty fun.
Cool.
I'll probably post it this week now.
Yeah. Oh, good. All right. Well, it's dance break time. So the very end of the show, what happens is I play a beautiful song from a cover band on YouTube. And you and I just kind of sway to the music, look at each other fondly in the eyes, and just
Thanks, everybody.
reflect back. Yeah, wait, come see tomorrow.
Elysian, midnight.
Midnight, the Elysian, every Saturday. So you don't have to you don't even have to put it on your calendar. You just know. Midnight.
Yes.
Midnight, Saturday. That's all you need to know. All right, and people can get tickets through, it's always at Elysian now?
It was at the Elysian. Also Edmonton. If for some reason you're going to be in Edmonton, come see my show.
Oh, cool. Yeah, definitely. All right, dance break time. I'm going to play, the Bee Gees wrote this song, but it was performed by Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers. It's a song called Islands in the Stream. Yeah, so thanks so much for being on the show, Ron. I really appreciate it.
Sure,
It's been really fun. And I can't wait to see more of your work. All right, let's do it. Dance break. There they are. I didn't know this was written by the Bee Gees. I thought it was Dolly Parton.
Baby, when I met you, there was peace unknown. I set out to get you with a fine tooth comb. I was soft inside. There was something going on. You do something to me that I can't explain. Hold me closer and I feel no pain. Every beat of my heart, we got something going on, yeah. And tender love is blind. It requires some dedication. All this love we feel needs no conversation. We ride it together.
I think they sound great.
Making love with
All right, everybody, thanks for being here today. Going to see Ron's show Saturday night, midnight. It's been lunch therapy.